Welcome to WhatGear Reviews. Today I'm looking at the brand new Realme X50 5G, which might be one of the most affordable 5G handsets that you can get in the UK today. And guess what? If you actually order these, you'll get a free pair of Realme Buds Q, which are the first ever true wireless earbuds from Realme. And actually, these earbuds were designed by this guy, Jose Levy, who actually used to design stuff for Hermes, that really expensive designer brand that would charge you £1,000 for a paperclip. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but they are very expensive. But these, in fact, are only $29.99 here in the UK if you want to buy them separately. So we'll take a look at those as well. But first, let's look at the X50 5G. You ready? Let's go. So one thing I really like and appreciate about Realme is they always put a case in there, always. So take a look at this. That back is so nice. I tell you what, Realme really nail it when it comes to having these kind of unique designs. This one is what I believe they call the Ice Silver, and there is another variant which is the Jungle Green, and both designs have been inspired by nature. And check this out, this back is not plastic. This is a Gorilla Glass 5 back, and on the front we also have Gorilla Glass 5 as well. Then you'll notice, just like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, we've got the side mounted fingerprint reader here, and this is meant to be very, very fast. It really does feel like a flagship smartphone. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a second. So we've got the USB-C cable here. So this is everything that comes with this device in the box. And this charger here is actually very special. This is a dart charger, and actually you can charge the phone to 70% in 30 minutes, and you can fully charge the device in 55 minutes to 100%. So that's really awesome. Now let's fire this thing up, check out what the screen's like, and run through some of the key specs that you need to know about this device. So this is an IPS LCD screen. It's huge. It's 6.57 inches, but what makes this one really special is the 120 Hz refresh rate. So for those of you that don't know, a 120 Hz refresh rate just means that the screen refreshes so quickly. Everything when it comes to navigating home screens and animations and everything like this will just appear to be much faster and very smooth, whereas you might get a bit more jitter on a screen to 60 Hz. So that 120 Hz refresh rate is really a flagship tier specification, and this phone comes in at £300. It's insane. And then check this out as well, you've got these selfie cameras here, a dual selfie camera on the front, and actually one of these is a Sony IMX471 and the other one is a 2 megapixel portrait lens, which is really designed to give you that blurry background. Let me test that out real quick. Now when it comes to the screen, it's actually really bright. I had this side by side with the X3 Super Zoom, and actually this IPS LCD panel seems to be a little bit brighter. And when we're talking about the screen to body ratio on this thing, it's 90.4% screen to body ratio, and the peak brightness is 480 nits. So it's really great in those bright conditions. So if that wasn't impressive enough, the camera spec on this phone is also pretty amazing. The primary shooter is a 48 megapixel sensor. You've got a 119 degree ultra wide angle camera on the back as well. The Google Pixel this year doesn't have an ultra wide camera on the back. Then it's also got a macro lens, which means you can get really close to your subject and take very detailed images at just centimeters away. Then the last sensor is actually a black and white portrait sensor, so that's meant to give you a bit more detail in those portrait shots. So check these photos out. So here are the speakers, and they are downward firing speakers. They call this the super linear speaker, and I have tested it out some YouTube and it's pretty awesome. And one thing I like about the bottom of the device here as well, you've got that kind of ridge. We saw this on the Oppo devices, and also I believe the OnePlus devices have that. It's a nice little effect there. Very cool. So there's some other cool features with this new Realme device, and they've actually upgraded the nightscape mode, which is the night photography mode, to nightscape 3.0, and that's what they call the ultra nightscape mode. So I will be testing out these cameras to see how good they are, and make sure you're subscribed and turn on your notification for that video, which is coming soon. Now let's check out the Realme Buds real quick before we wrap this up. So this case just looks like a pebble, like a stone. And it's funny because the designer, Jose Levy, actually said he was inspired by the pebbles at Normandy, where he grew up and used to play on the beach as a kid. And that is what inspired this design of these buds. And taking these out of the case the first time, they're very lightweight, they're very compact. And that's actually, I believe, a good thing. You don't want earbuds to be too heavy. The case is so small as well. USB, micro USB charging though, no USB-C on these, so that's where they've saved some money. That's probably why they're 30 quid. Here's some of the things you need to know about these earbuds. So they've got a 20-hour battery life. They've got 10mm drivers, which they call bass boost drivers, so these should be really powerful in the bass department. Then they've got super low latency, so if you're going to use these for gaming, they're saying it's 119 milliseconds. And then once you've paired these to a device, you get instant connection when you take them out of the case. So they should automatically pair to the device that you used last time. And when it comes to the weight, they're actually just 3.6 grams. Let me give these a go. So right now you're watching the front facing selfie camera on the Realme X50 5G. How's the quality looking here? But let's talk about the quality of these earbuds. So first off, when it comes to comfort, they're actually very comfortable. Because they're so lightweight, you hardly feel them in your ears. When it comes to the sound quality, they do deliver on that bass promise that they put on the box. So great bass there, but it kind of doesn't have the clarity of a more expensive pair of earbuds. But I played a bit of PUBG with these in, and the latency thing that they mentioned as well is also very good. My opinion on the sound quality, they're good for 30 quid. You can't really go wrong. Great bass, not the highest amount of detail, but it's good enough to enjoy music and YouTube videos and stuff like this. So here's my opinion of the Realme X50, and I've looked at several Realme devices, and I think this one tops the charts of the best looking back. I do like the X50 Pro back, it's kind of that frosted finish, but this one, a bit more striking, and I really like it. The weight and feel is just like a flagship phone, and the great thing about this is 5G. It's got a really powerful processor. Yes, it's not the top tier one, but it's also backed up with a good amount of RAM, a huge battery, really fast UFS 2.1 storage. And one of the things I didn't mention earlier on is if you're a gamer, this 765G chipset has a very powerful GPU from Qualcomm, and that is further backed up by Realme's liquid cooling system inside the device. So when you're gaming, if the device starts to heat up, it's got a built-in mechanism to cool it down. So if you guys want to pick one of these up, you might be able to get the Realme Buds Q with them. If you enjoyed this video, check out the Realme X3 Super Zoom. That's a very interesting phone. Thumbnails on screen right now. Go check that one out. And if you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. I'll see you in the next one. Don't be late.